What's up? Today I want to speak about how I got into voiceover, the voiceover artist space. I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. It is a bit of a windy story, but I'll try and get through it as quickly as I can. So, I had an idea. I had the idea of becoming a voiceover artist maybe 3 years ago, right? I hadn't done anything except for try one or two sample scripts. So I googled the script randomly online, and I was like, hey, I can read this out. So I read it a few times, and then I got behind the microphone. I'm a music producer, as you can see in the background. So I got behind the microphone and I recorded it. Then I sent it to someone who is a voiceover artist. I sent it to them and I said, hey, how does this sound? And they said, it sounds okay, but these are the different points that you can improve upon. So I practiced a little bit. I think I recorded maybe one or two more samples. Then what I did is I went to an agency because I thought that was the next logical step. I didn't know what to do next, so I went to an agency, and I sent through my samples. They had a look at them. They were like, okay, cool. We'll add you onto our roster. Whenever work comes through, we'll see what happens. They said, do you have any pictures or anything else that any other talents that you might have that you want to put forward? So I was like, hey, why not? So I took a few of my professionally taken pictures and I sent them through as well, thinking at some point I was going to, get some modeling gigs. That didn't work out. I think must have been a year or throughout the course of that year, maybe towards the end of that year. I got tired because they would say things like, you need to go to this casting, you need to do this and that. And I wouldn't have the time to. I just wouldn't be able to get off work, or it just didn't sound like it was a smart move. Like the amount of money that they said that I might be earning if I hang around the whole day and wait for my chance to be casted. I was like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. So eventually I was like, look, let's not waste each other's time anymore. You can remove me completely. And then I left that idea alone. This was towards the end of 2021. In 2022, so that was last year, in May. Actually, it was earlier. It was April, I think. April, must have been April. Yeah. A colleague of mine, who's a singer, was like, yo, this is what I'm doing on Fiverr. You might want to get involved. This is how I'm sorting things out at the moment. I was like, whoa, this actually looks like we actually had the conversation right here. And I was like, this looks good. I mean, you're doing it. Usually when I get excited when I see someone who's actually in it doing the thing. I'm like, okay, so there's a key. Like this person is doing it, therefore I'm sure I can get it done. Not to put them down or anything, but just to say that it's possible. There's living proof. It's not a random YouTube video or something, but excuse me, I can get in contact with this person and we can actually work on, if I have any questions, I can send it through to them. But there's proof, effectively. So from there, I got onto the platform, but it wasn't for voiceover, actually. I got onto the platform pushing the agenda of being a mixing and mastering engineer. So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to mix and master and call it a day. I mix and master quite quickly, and there's a very I think that I'm good at it, right? So I was like, why not try and get the service out of me just working locally with people? Why not try and get some international clients? So I put up a gig on a platform called Fiverr, and I waited. While I was waiting, I decided to put up another gig. This one was for voiceover because I saw there were other voiceover artists on the platform. And it's funny, the day that I put it up, or maybe the day after that I put up the voiceover gig, I started getting inquiries, and I thought, it's fine. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for mixing and mastering job to pop up, let me get into this voiceover thing and see what's going on. It was a very short script. I think it was a security company or something. So I was like, look, I'll do it for $5. Let's see if this platform even works. So I got the job. We started working, and it went well. It wasn't easy. I didn't find it easy because I was nervous. I also felt like I had to do it all in one take. It wasn't great, right? But I got it done, and I got it done within the space of maybe an hour and a half. I sent the work through, and the person was like, cool, thank you. Paid me, left me a very nice review, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I had $5 in my wallet, my Fiverr wallet. So I carried on waiting for a mixing and mastering job. It never came. I started getting more and more interest from the voiceover side of things, which was annoying because I wanted to use Fiverr to make money being a mixing and mastering engineer. But like I kind of had to just accept that this was doing better. The voiceover stuff was doing better. And look, I did start getting mixing and mastering jobs here and there, but majority of the stuff that I was getting done was voiceover. Like there were people like every second day, someone was like, yo, how much do you charge? What do you do? Can you please send me some samples? So I'd send the stuff over. They would say, we've got this job. We need this done. Then what I slowly started doing as I was getting more and more jobs is I started asking for a little bit more money each time. To a point where, I was getting maybe $20, $15 here, maybe another 10 over there, another 15, another 20. And I started rising up in the ranks on Fiverr. And I was doing everything. I tried everything. Then I started working on my profile. Then I jumped on YouTube and I found other people also doing voiceover and copywriting as well, which was then another service that I tried to offer. I did quite a few jobs copywriting for people before ChatGPT and all of that came about. That was cool. But voiceover was the one. That was the thing that just kept on popping up. And I think at some point I was like, look, if I'm going to do this properly, let me just increase my prices to a place where I feel like it can take over what I'm doing in my 9 to 5. So I bumped up the price and I still carried on getting orders. And then I bumped it up again and I still carried on getting orders. I think I must have been getting my biggest month on Fiverr. The most orders I've gotten is 50. And it's been anywhere between 35 and 40, just constantly each month. Regardless of where I put my price, the job amount has always been the same. So at some point it was enough that it was competing with my 9 to 5 salary. And I was like, hey, I can actually do this. I can work freelance. So I left my job. Then I decided at some point again that I was going to raise my prices. And yeah, I think since then, I think I've raised it once more. And it's been about 1.5 years now. So it's running up on 1.5 years. And that's been me. Like jobs come through, very interesting jobs. Like I get jobs doing like a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of local ads. I didn't think that there'd be local ads, and I didn't think that there would be people looking for this particular accent, because they're very much, when it comes to voiceover, it's very much about the accent. The two accents that they love the most is the US accent and I guess the Canadian accent, but I kind of just lump them into one, and then the UK accent, like a very, typical British accent, clean British accent. Those are the two accents that they really like. Some people do like the Australian accent, but I feel like it's a lot more niche. You have to sort of be looking for that sound. It's got its own connotations about it. But I think after all of those accents, I feel like South Africa comes next. Ours is the next cleanest next cleanest and most commercial, because that's the sort of the balance that we need to have. So it turned out that there were a lot of people who saw me as the cheaper alternative to the Americans, because an American might look at $10 and turn their nose up at that because it's not much, whereas in South Africa $10 does mean a little bit more. So I am effectively the cheaper option. I'm the cheaper labor. I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. But what I did realize was that at some point I needed to push myself up into that same category, into the similar category. So what I started doing was I started benchmarking myself over other people in the US. This honestly only happened after I think I got like 100 reviews on the platform. And from there I started taking myself seriously in that. I was like, look, it must have been 400 or 500 jobs that I had done at that time on Fiverr, voiceover jobs. And I told myself that, look, if there's this many people who are willing to work with me, then surely I can increase my price to a place where it's competitive with your other accents. So I did it. I raised my price, and I thought clients were going to disappear, but they didn't. I'm still getting around about the same amount of jobs each month, anywhere between 35 and 40, which is cool by me. Doesn't take me a very long time to work on these jobs, but it's I guess it's good money. So the plan at the moment is for me to keep on just working at it, building up my portfolio. I might go back to a local agency at some point if I feel like the jobs here are starting to dry up. I was also concerned about AI voices, platforms like Revoicer, that they might take over, and that might end up being being the way that people get their voiceovers done for their videos. But of all the AI voices I've heard, there's a very flat there's a flatness to it, right? Even now as I'm speaking to you, even though you might consider me sounding monotonous, at least there is some kind of humanness in my voice. I slow down from time to time. I speed up at certain parts. There's parts where I'm quite soft, and there's places where I might speak a bit higher up here. And it's those little bits that I don't think they've gotten right yet. I know with the speed that we've improved AI just in the past year, they'll get it soon, right? They'll get it at some point. But at this point, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go over and above and learn ways of portraying my voice in a more authentic way to the script that I receive, because that's all it really is, right? I wouldn't say voiceover is easy in that it's just get a script and read it. It's easy to do, but it's not easy to do well. So it's being able to interpret the script. It's being able to look at the script and say, the person who wrote it, how are they feeling? How do I want the people to feel? Say, how does this make me feel as Adrian, the person? And then how do we, the client and I that I'm working with, how do we want the audience to receive my voice when I say it? If it needs to be emotional, what sort of emotion? It can't just be emotional. Are we trying to evoke a sense of inspiration? Should we sound accomplished and triumphant? Should we sound hopeful? Should we sound, sad but hopeful? There's this one script that I had to do where I needed to my emotion. And it happens often with solution-based companies where they're like, you've got a problem, and then I have to sound very very mellow, and then I go up, and then at some point, just as the solution is being introduced, then you sort of pick up your energy and you're like, okay, we're here. And it's not pick it up and just start shouting at the microphone, but you have to convey that now you've gotten the service and now you're keen because this service is one that is going to fix whatever issue it is that you're having. And then at the end, you have to be very confident about how you then deliver that tagline that they give you. So that, I think, is where those are the little things that I'm trying to learn. And it's funny, I don't have a vocal coach. My vocal coach has been YouTube. My vocal coach has been my feedback from my clients. And I've just learned through that. You also, I've learned a lot of things about the character of my voice. Everybody's voice has a character. It's not just your voice is deep or your voice is high-pitched or whatever. There are certain characters, and each person can have multiple characters. You just need to find out which ones play to your strengths. So I know that when it comes to more corporate reads, those tend to come a lot more easily to me. A hard sell is a hard sell. If I need to be up there and give the energy I need to, I can do that. But sometimes I find them quite, they're easy to do. I would want something where I need to convey a multitude of emotions that really challenges me, where I need to sound sad, and then from sad I need to go to hopeful. And from hopeful I need to be happy, and then from being happy I need to sort of sound confused and aloof and just there but not quite, and then come back to it and then regain my focus and be there again. Those are the type of scripts that I really enjoy. So the goal now is I want to get more credits to my name. So I did this in the music industry. I'm lucky that I've done something similar to this before, just not at this scale and not this quick. With music, it kind of took me like 14 years, 13 years, maybe 12 before I got it right, where developed the skill. After developing the skill, I needed to build up a portfolio, work with certain people. But the issue with the music industry is that you have to schmooze and you have to build relationships and network, and only just to get the opportunity to be in studio with someone, create the song, and the song might still not come out. Whereas it's a bit easier in the voiceover world in that if you're good, you're good. And if a client wants to use you for a particular advert that is for a particular brand, if they're going to use you, they're going to use you. They're going to spend money on you to use you for that brand. And you can collect your credits quite fast if you are good. So I want to do more of that, and build it to a place where I've got national brands under my belt. I'm already in certain stores. I'm already in. There are a couple of radio ads that I've done already. I'm all over YouTube. I'm on a few really, really big YouTube channels. One gets on average per video gets about 100,000 views each video, which is wild now that I think about it. The one where I had to do some narration, they have 8 million followers. I'm like, I don't even know, like, in terms of YouTube, I can't even fathom what that looks like. What does 100,000 look like? When I watch Chelsea play football, their stand has 45,000 people in it. So it's basically 2 Stamford Bridges filled with people. Though that's the amount of times that this thing has been listened to. I can't even, like, even now thinking about it, I know the number, it makes sense. But when I say it's two stadiums full, still, I'm just like, it's whatever. But that's a lot of people. So yeah, I want to get a lot more of that done. And I think through doing this, I should be able to build up my credits more and then get to a place where I am able to go to an agency. My issue right now is if I go to an agency right now, I'm still just the guy who works off of Fiverr, who does a bit of YouTube, maybe 1 or 2 provincial ads. I want 1 or 2 national ads or bigger ads. That way, when I go to them, there's a bit more leverage in my importance to the agency. That they look at me and they're like, yo, we need this guy in here and he's going to be top 5. I'll even take top 10 because these agencies have gang voiceover artists. I'll take top 10. That way, when there's jobs that come along, I'm at least, I'm top of mind or I'm close to top of mind. Because with the last agency I worked with, I was just a random guy with 2 samples that came in who didn't really know what he was doing. And I was treated as such. You know, as an agency owner, it's difficult for you to care for all the children in the agency. I get it. There's a lot of us. But it's easy to tell when you're not important. It's like being in a sports team. You know when you're a star player. The coach treats you differently. They try not to, but it happens. Same in a classroom. It's always the same. So when I go in to the next opportunity, I want to go in knowing that I am more, not that I'm the best there, but I know that when I go in there, I'm going to be taken seriously. At this point right now, I don't think being just that Fiverr voiceover guy is going to work for me right now. Yeah, so that's it. I think what I'll do, maybe at some point, I'll just go into, equipment and how I set the place up to record. You don't need a massive, a professional setup like I've got behind me. You don't need anything fancy, all this weird equipment that I've got running. All you really need is a decently soundproofed space, confidence in your script, actual skill, having the ability, being able to do a little bit of editing on your vocals, just being able to clean them up, and being punctual and being able to take feedback. That's the other massive one. When they tell you that your voiceover was just not good enough, you didn't have enough energy in it, you need to be able to be reflective and say, I didn't have enough energy. I need to, have a cup of coffee, maybe go for a jog or do push-ups or something, and then redo this voiceover so that it sounds like I've got the energy that I need. So being able to do all of those things, I'll go into more of this stuff, I think, as time goes on. But for the most part, I just wanted to outline my story through doing this. It's been, if I calculate it now, it's been 14 months, maybe 15 months since I started on Fiverr. Started earning money quite quickly, not a lot. It was a couple $100 here and there, which was no more than maybe $50 or whatever it was in the first few months. But then it very quickly picked up to being enough to compete with and then surpass my physiotherapy salary after 6 months of proper grinding and hard work and just watching YouTube videos. That's another thing I did. I downloaded 100 YouTube videos and I watched them, all to do with voiceover, learning how to speak publicly, projecting my voice, I got some on different accents and where they come from, how people, how they use their tongue to speak, and how different ethnicities and whatnot, how we all, sorry, different countries, how we all speak and stuff like that. That stuff interests me anyway, so I would have done it anyway. But going through all those videos and then getting super tactical in the weeds with how to build a Fiverr profile, what colors work, what sort of descriptions work, what should I be doing here, how should I click there, what are the best practices, all of that stuff. That was what those 100 videos were about. And I just consumed them slowly over time and got to this point. So we'll see what happens now over the next 6 months, as we close this year out and start the following one, where I'll be. Who knows? Maybe at some point I'll get an agency and we'll be speaking a different story. But yeah, until then, peace.